November 2025 soul story. If you have a sun, rising or moon in the sign, it's your reading. It's Romy here. Thank you so much for joining me on the channel. We're going to open up for you this month with the energy of death, and you're definitely going through a pathway that has felt intense. It may still feel like there are parts of your life breaking down, maybe even parts of yourself that are going through this powerful transmutation. And in recognizing that, we can also recognize that those around us are also fighting their own battles. It's easy to get lost in our own storyline because it can feel so intense. But when we take a beat and we can recognize the fragility of what others are also experiencing, it can help you to return to your heart energy. And I think that's important because you need right now to have and to hold yourself in kindness and compassion, in tolerance and in love. And when we can do that for ourselves, we can also then more easily vibrate on that frequency, which allows us to do it for the people around us as well. Now you're going to get there, but right now you're here. So what is here asking of you? You are being guided and you can't turn back. There's a follow through energy being asked of you in the month of November. Now Mars moves into Sagittarius on the 4th and we become very driven. That fire is really guiding you. Now Sagittarius energy is 4th house for you, but we're in that Scorpio season right now, okay? But we're tinged with both this sort of need to zone right in at the details. You notice the little flowers coming through the cracks here. So we have new growth where things have felt like they split you open. But this Sagittarius energy, which is also punctuating right from the beginning of November, and then of course when we come into the season later this month, also wants to understand and look at the big picture. So you're sort of navigating that experience, right? Now, Mars and Uranus are opposing one another right ahead of the full moon in Taurus arriving on the 5th. So a little bit of tension and friction energy coming in. And we know that this period is, still demanding something of you. And so we feel very driven, but at the same time, like unexpectedly, we may lean into some kinds of emotions, or there may be some news or information or unfolding, by way of that full moon that also feels like it demands your attention. It's asking something of you. And it will, I feel, coalesce in a manner that kind of allows you to get very focused in regards to something. Now we're looking at themes of Taurus at that full moon of stability and security. With that Mars energy in Sagittarius, that's around the home. So, the almost like rebuilding and strengthening of foundations, and taking that Scorpio sun to really allow ourselves to almost like have a rebirth experience. Now you've got the Daughter of Coins, and what I really love is that as these flowers are emerging through what has felt like perhaps some inhospitable circumstances, some pretty tough experiences, you're recognizing them, and not only that, you're set about investing in taking care of them, in nurturing them. You see their value, you understand the power of what you've been through, and the need now to put these new foundations in place for yourself. There is beautiful growth here, and look, we move from the sort of grey, sort of, quite heavy, dense energy into that beautiful bright blue sky, this blast of colour coming through from the flowers. There's something that arrives in the month of November that feels like a breath of fresh air, given what it is that you've navigated and what you've been through. Venus shifts into Scorpio on the 6th, and we have a deep desire to want to get up close and personal and intimate and really bond and connect. And so whatever it is that you feel holds value, you're gonna want to like really merge with that energy, and that's really beautiful. So that's where I see you quite grounded, quite leveled, and really investing in something, and really allowing it to take shape and to reveal to you actually the place that it's going to have, the position that it wants to hold in your life. So whether this is a relationship, a person, or just something that you really have that Venusian sense of, this has value to me, this feels good to me, this holds beauty and abundant energy for me. And that in and of itself can help you to feel more secure. So even though there's still some tumultuous energy, there's this sense of groundedness that arrives. Now, we're then going to have Uranus coming back into Taurus on the 7th. And you know this energy, right? You've been working with it for the last 8 years. So there's something to return to. There's a familiarity and a comfort, but at the same time, the realization of how much you've changed and grown. And a lot of this sort of, last few weeks of the year, with some of the outer planets returning into energies that they've been working in, is telling us that there are things to finish up, but it also gives us a real insight to the degree in which we have changed and grown and evolved or not. And it kind of helps you double down and get refocused on the things that just do need your time, energy, and attention. But again, that Taurus frequency is wanting to highlight to you something about the learning, the bigger picture, the sort of setting your horizon, setting your sights further, right? With that 9th house, there's something about setting your sights further. Now, let's also be mindful that the 9th is going to see us with a Mercury retrograde. Of course, it's your ruling planet. Both you and Gemini always feel these transits. We know what they deliver, all of the usual, the tech challenges, the travel interruptions, the communication that can get a little bit lost in translation, but it also returns us to ourselves. Now, you've got the 9 of Staffs here. There's a clearance energy. So what I'm going to say to you is it's going to be super beneficial for you to take time to clear your space, your surroundings. There's maybe a need for the energy of your devices, even the tech that you use. Look upon this retrograde as an opportunity to kind of, again, strengthen the foundations and start things with a place and a frequency of just like, okay, if I'm going to do this, if this is my way forward, then I'm going to set things up and I'm going to put things in an order that feels most aligned and most flow and most mirroring of the vibration and the frequency that I want. So I think it can be super valuable for you in that regard. Of course, again, retrograde in Sagittarius means it's retrograde in your 4th house. So revisiting, thinking back, addressing things connected into to home, to family, and maybe the places of work. But that 9 of Wands talks about a little bit of a depletion energy, some tiredness, feeling a little bit tired and wired. We can spin out in that not only mercurial nature of the planet, but also in, Sagittarius energy to boot, right? So there's that sort of mutable quality that can feel a little bit disorientating and dizzying. Just be careful even of that sort of like vertigo-y type energy. It just kind of feels like, again, your balance, finding rootedness, groundedness is going to be really important for you through that energy. Now, on the 11th, we're going to, of course, welcome our 1111 portal, but we also have Jupiter going retrograde in Cancer. And I think this month there's a gift, there is definitely a reward. I feel like it's important you come out of an energy that says maybe, and you want to come into a boldness about what the next step is. Now, here's the thing, you need to take the time that you need in order to arrive at that bold energy, and maybe retrograde is not when it's at, right? But by the end of the month, we're going to have some planetary movements that it means it will be supportive, right? But this is what I think, around the 11th, you are contemplating like new plans, and you're thinking about the support that you'll need in order to initiate those new plans. Jupiter in Cancer is giving you insight into something, and you're going to want to take it further. You want to expand on it, but it means that you have to match the frequency within you with what is going to be the actions that you take outside of you. And so the work over the next few weeks with that transit is, let me be that which I seek, right? And there's a real blessing in that. There's something really abundant that feels like it's emerging, taking seed from within you, and the manifesting opportunity at that portal is really profound. The plans and what is initiated for you holds a lot of weight and power. Vesta, asteroid goddess, moves into Capricorn on the 15th. Remember, she's the custodian of our sacred inner flame. And in Capricorn, we're also, prepared to do what it takes. We're strong in our mindset and our strategizing, the goals, the ambitions. But it's just the way that we take care of things, and we kind of have that resiliency, that stamina, really. But everything is focused around, again, this protection of the hearth and the home and kind of what exists within, right? So I think there's a theme this month about how you go about making yourself feel more secure, more stable, more balanced, more grounded, more rooted. And from that place, everything else can build and be built in the right way, okay? You're strengthening foundations. It's really a powerful time for that for you. Now, the new moon in Scorpio is going to arrive on the 19th. I love this moon. It's alchemical, it's magnetic, it's powerful. You've got the Seven of Swords here, right? So you got to be a little bit clever in how you approach things. Now, remember, like Scorpio season, third house, there's sort of some fluidity and adaptability that's required in terms of plans. Okay, you might have your set plans, but you're going to have to be a bit open to the fact that retrograde especially could mess with that a little bit. It feels to me though that you're also trying to, something about sort of, working behind the scenes as well. And preparing things, like there's a sort of timing component to this, right? I know the Seven of Swords can be quite weighted in, sometimes how it presents itself. And yes, for sure, you may find with the impact on communication that there's some sort of real issue with regards to people in your world, or you maybe feel that people are speaking or saying things, or that there's a lack of sort of integrity or honesty coming at you that you need to deal with. But I feel like that's kind of low level in some regards. I think with that new moon, and to capitalize on its power, its magic. And remember, sort of Scorpio kind of works in the shadows a little bit as well. It's comfortable in that placement. So I think there's a lot of like going deeper into the parts of yourself that have also been holding you back, recognizing where perhaps you're still self-sabotaging, Virgo, where there are still some parts of yourself that are attached to some super outdated stuff, particularly around the energy of guilt, where guilt sits in you and what that connection is. That's what we need to dissolve and release and let go of. We don't want that as part of the new foundations that we're building upon. It's such an unhelpful frequency to work with, right? So be mindful of where that might be showing up. But the new moon, has you setting new intentions, okay? And I think you can be really quick and clever, and almost like there's a strong sense of knowing how to act, when to act, and that will also work in your favour. It's almost like you're getting psychically ahead of time a sort of download that says, okay, you need to protect this, or you need to go deal with this, or here's the priority, or there's an opportunity about to show up here, make sure you're positioned. So it's almost like you're getting some strong downloads this month, okay? And they're coalescing in and around that energy of the new moon Scorpio, okay? So when we shift into Sagittarius season and we're into that fourth house, you kind of have to be all the things that you need to be for yourself, right? We're kind of caretaker and parent, inner parent, there's a sort of balancing and, a realization of what the requirement is from a perspective of divine masculine and feminine within you. Like, to what degree are these, out of balance? Your Six of Coins is also indicative of the fact that, again, I think we're looking at the themes around support, okay, and what you need, making sure that you are able to be direct and upfront, and maybe not having self-sabotaging tendencies get in the way of that. I think that you do get what you need, okay? There's definitely a sense of that coming through. And there's a sort of a reciprocal energy that feels like it shows up, but it also feels like there's something that you have to do to ensure that that is dealt with. at some sort of timing, you know, around 21st, 22nd of this month. I also want to call out to you the fact that Saturn is going to go direct on the 27th, followed by Mercury, thankfully, on the 29th. But with Saturn direct in Pisces, you know, there's something about a relationship situation, you know, Pisces in your 7th house. And it's like new terms, right? There's new terms, but it's absolutely predicated on the lessons learned, okay? Like, what did you go through? What have you been through? But there's also where, you know, you've experienced some blocks, some delays, and some sort of heavy duty challenges. A release of that. It's like kind of floodgates open. So there's a flow of something coming towards you as well that feels connected into one-on-one relationship. But new terms is what they're giving me. So an opportunity maybe through retrograde to renegotiate earlier in the month, and then come to this place at the end of November where you're feeling, you know what, it's been quite intense, but at the same token, there's some lightness now to realizing that I've been able to reposition and reprioritize. And again, that lets you get on with the things that you really want to take some time to invest and focus upon, okay? You need to take care of the details, and it feels like, you know, there is a sort of depletion, and I almost want to say, like, be mindful of the kind of siphoning energy as well. You know, 9 of Wands, 7 of Swords feels like you might well have some situations in your life where you're connected to something. It could be a person, it could be an energy of something that you know you're involved in, but it is really taking from you, it's really draining from you. And maybe this is also the time to sort of do what you need to do to kind of extricate yourself from that, okay, initially in a way that just feels right for you, until you're then able to kind of face directly and deal with in a way that's going to ensure that something is sort of put to bed, or a line is drawn, okay? There's something again around this sort of coming out of this energy of like, maybe, I don't know. I think the way that you think is being challenged in many regards through November, but you find yourself as you kind of move through the month becoming stronger and stronger in your conviction in regards to something, and really kind of laying it on the line, I feel, at the end of the month, which is going to really serve you. Now, just going to go ahead and clarify these cards, and we're going to look at them in the extended reading. You'll find the link for that in the description box underneath. We talk for another 25 minutes or so, and we'll also look at a personal and a relationship card for you. So if the reading resonates, if you're in a position to do so, it helps me to just keep showing up for the free readings and keep the channel going. So I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. You've got your Queens coming in there, and another 9 of Wands showing up, Knight of Cups. So November is when I release all of my seasonal offers. So please do take the time to check out my website, romywiser.com, and see what is available by way of working with me one-to-one, the readings that I'm offering, and the sacred titles that I have to support you in your spiritual path, okay? Another Page of Pentacles coming through here, 9 of Cups. You see, the investment that you make this month is worthwhile. Like, there's a really good feeling about it coming through. And I think November gives us such a preview of things that we'll be working on and with through the course of 2026. Now, you know, you've been through it with that eclipse energy. You know, it's having a profound, indelible impact on you right now. And, you know, your life is changing and will continue to change right the way through till, you know, next year as we complete on this eclipse journey. So this is Life Soul Vision Oracle, my deck. We've got the Sun coming through. We've got Alchemize the Ache. I like that a lot for you. Spirit Stag, Heavenly Timing. There's that Saturnian influence. Casting out constellations. This is the way, this is the work. We've got the Gathering. There's that support energy showing up. And Soul Star energy. Beautiful. Okay. That stuck there. So I'm going to turn it. Solstice. Okay. And we are just going to look at a final oracle for Virgo. The same thing happened with the Leo reading with that solstice. Okay, of course we'll be welcoming solstice next month. And we've got the Oracle of Harvest coming through, Gathering of Blessings, number 44 as well. That's beautiful, Virgo. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you so much. I'm going to see you on the extended, I hope. Have a great month. Until next time. Bye for now.